Welcome to Becca's Bold Blurbs, quick and radical perspectives on living sober by getting the nonsense out of your noggin so you can get on with living this one wonderful life you've been given. Let's get to it. All right, blurb time. Got a question for you. I start off often by asking questions, don't I? But I'll tell you why. It's because I want you thinking about yourself and your life. That's what these blurbs are all about. So here's a question for you. Are you a forgiving person? Now, most of you probably said yes because I have amazing listeners, kind listeners, listeners who want to grow, listeners who are like totally on to blurby listeners, whatever that means. We're making up our own language here. But, of course you're a forgiving person. We could dig into that, and there might be some stuff in the past, and there might be limits about, people you can forgive, but you're forgiving. So let me ask you another question. What about yourself? Do you forgive yourself? Now we get into the realm of the difficult, don't we? Yeah. And if you forgive yourself, do you completely forgive yourself? So often yeah, okay, yeah, I'll forgive, yes, of course, Becca, I forgive myself. And then we get talking, we dig a little deeper, we journal, we work away, and we get all of a sudden to this point where, except for that one thing, there's that one thing I did that's unforgivable. And no, I'm not telling anyone about it. It's just, trust me, it's unforgivable. Or it might be shared. I think one of the reasons we don't want to share the unforgivable thing is because we're scared someone will talk us into forgiving ourselves. Now, let me go. What the heck why did I say that? I'll tell you why. Here's where I'm going today. I want to ask you, no, I'm going to tell you that if you are holding a grudge against yourself for anything, it's an ego trip. I know, right? And I've said this before. Now, I learned this the hard way. When I came into sobriety, I came holding massive grudges against myself. Hey, listen, I published a book. Do you know what it's called? Prostitute to Professor. Guess what? I used to be a prostitute, and not a high class one. I don't know what that means. I just like, you know what I mean? I was a prostitute, and everything that you kind of imagine that goes with that, that was me. Okay, go read the book if you want the nitty gritties. So I came into recovery, even though it had been 25 years since I had been a prostitute, and in those 25 years, I was, for the first 7 or 8, I was a college student, and then after that, I was a college professor, right? Doesn't matter. I carried into sobriety when I was 53, certain things that I was simply not going to be forgiven for. I had done things and I was drawing the line, and I knew they were horrible, horrible things that I just could not imagine saying, it's okay that you did that, Becca. And so it was off the table. It was just, no, I'm not doing that. And then what happens? I meet a wise woman, and the wise woman says to me, oh, wow, that's quite the ego trip you're on. I'm like, what? What? No, you don't understand. You see, what I'm doing here is I'm beating myself up so that, I'm taking care of it. Hey, if you're a God person, that's me. It's like I'm saying to God, don't worry, God, you don't have to punish me. I'll do it for you. And I'll do it every day for the rest of my life until I die. I'll make sure I'm punished. Don't worry, I won't allow myself to be forgiven. I got this. I understand how horrible I am. I got it. I'm taking care of it. So don't you worry about it. Right? I don't, I got this covered. So she says to me, wow, what an ego trip. I'm going, no, you don't get it. I understand how horrible I am. And she's like, wow, no, you don't get it. That's an ego trip. What makes you so special, Becca? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was actually so upset that I didn't talk to her for a couple of days. And then somewhere, I found some humility, enough humility to go back. And she, slowly, 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 I got it. She's like, we've all done things we feel are unforgivable. No, we weren't all prostitutes, but that's just a matter of degrees. The point here is that what makes me so special that I'm unforgivable? What am I like the it's like trying to be the unforgivable person is like trying to be the best person. Well, I'm the best person out there. We wouldn't say that. We'd say, but I'm the baddest person out there. Why would we say that? So wanting to be the worst person is just as egotistical as wanting to be the best person. When I finally accepted that, I realized, oh, I was just really trying to make myself special by being so horrible. No, no, you don't understand if you knew the whole story. Because, of course, back then, nobody knew I was a prostitute back in the day. The story was never going to come out. Funny how we change. Oh my goodness, if you'd have told me I was going to not just tell people but publish it to the world. Anyways, but I thought I figured that I was really really special because of the things I had done back in the day. The my prostitute days were started when I was 18 and ended when I was 32. So it's a bit of a long haul, a 14-year stretch, right? And in those 14 years, hey, did some stuff, right? Hello. So I really did honestly believe I was the worst of the worst of the worst. And all that is an ego trip. Because first of all, who the hell's counting? I mean, who's judging this? Who gets to decide, right? Yeah, I mean, it was all when I got to step back and finally look at it, and I realized, oh my God, no. And not only that, but people actually don't care. Most people really aren't particularly interested in the horrible things you've done in the past. I mean, they might, if when they hear, like, let me give you an example. When I did finally put my story out there, I thought, okay, here we go. I'm going to publish this. OMG, what's going to happen? My colleagues at the college are going to see it because I'm just about retired right now. I'm just on the last few weeks of using up some vacation and I'm done. But when I published the book, I was still actively at the college teaching and I'd been there 20 years and I knew my colleagues were going to find out and I thought like this is just going to are you sure you want to do this? Like what? You know what happened? There was a little bit of an uproar for a day or two and then everyone forgot all about it. I mean they didn't forget about it but they just went on with their lives. People have lives. They don't spend their days thinking about you. They get on with their own lives. They got stuff to do. Nobody, not one single person. I mean, some people went silent, and so I'm guessing they're a little bit upset. I hope with all my heart that they get over it. But most people just went, wow, man, that's the most courageous thing I've ever seen. And it's inspiring to me, Becca, that you're willing to share your past gives me hope for myself. So it was worth it, right? But thinking that we're the worst, that we've done anything that's unforgivable, honestly, I'm telling you, it's an ego trip. And I strongly encourage you to look it over, whatever it is, excuse me, and make a decision to let it go. Because I'm sorry, dear, but you're just not that special. You're amazing, and we love you, but you're not that special. We've all got crappy crap in our past, all of us, and you don't get to win. Oh my, there's a blurb for you. Sending you tons of love. Thank you for popping in. And by the way, tomorrow I'm going to start talking about emotional sobriety, and I'm going to talk about it for several days, and I have resources on it. It's a massive topic, and I want us to really explore it because it's a huge, huge part of sobriety, growth, and growing up. And being who we want to be. Sending you love. You know I love you. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.